Hello and welcome back to another week of DXB podcasting. Again this week, Ollie is missing, so me and Chris are here as normal. Say hi, Chris.
How you doing?
Here we go. Ollie misses us again, which is unfortunate because some of the predictions that we did for him last week, well, at least one of them came off,
Yeah, you did well. Like surprisingly well.
surprisingly well.
Annoyingly, I think Ollie predicts there's three draws this weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
When I was talking to him, that's what he said.
we've said it all the way through. If you're not going to turn up for podcasting, we get the absolute right Top Gear rules. So we get to do the predictions for you. The prediction France by 22 really wasn't that far off at all.
He was on for it towards the end as well. Like he was really close.
Yeah, I think until the last one, that leads us quite nicely into the France-Ireland game. You had France by 5. I had Ireland by 9. I was definitely last on that. France came out firing despite losing Dupont quite early on. Did you honestly see that scoreline coming from France?
No, nowhere near that scoreline. I thought it'd be close. I thought France had a good chance. If anyone was going to upset Ireland, it would be them. In a weird way, I'm glad there's no Grand Slam, also because it keeps England in the title race until this weekend, and it sets up Super Saturday really nice, which we'll talk about later. But there were some really impressive performances from France. I think like the way they played, and I saw it coming. I said to my wife Chloe on the game when we were watching it, I was like, as soon as they got, I think 2 scores ahead, I was like, they're done. Like, France are now, they can let loose.
Yeah, and I think once they had that sort of baseline in, and it started, quite early, like both teams, but as soon as you could see France were firing, and it's probably the difference if you look back to the France-England game, and like you could
never
see
let them get too far ahead.
Yeah. They weren't firing, and every time they showed glimpses, they sort of got either they did something forced by themselves, they dropped something, did something didn't go to hand, but you could just see that they weren't. And I think this, when you saw them early on.
I think France are a team that play on confidence as well, right? Like if you let them, it's not let them, but if they can pull away a bit, even just a bit, they'll start.
If you give them the freedom they've got that French have always had the flair, and I think and similar teams to sort of when I look at some of the Southern Hemisphere, so like Fiji, for example, like if you give Fiji a couple of tries early.
Now they're firing.
And you allow
now the offloads are throwing. Now they can play their game. Yeah.
14 offloads later. And France definitely, like confidence team, had their tails up and didn't let off.
And they also have the 2 extremes, right? They have an enormous forward pack, like big bunch of boys who will just noir it all the way up the middle of the pitch, right? Just truck it one after the other, next one. So the battering ram. I mean, you know what's coming, but like every carry, Meafu makes a couple of meters because he's just 140 some odd kilograms.
It just falls over the game line.
Exactly. So then they do that, and then all of a sudden, like that condenses your defense, and then they've got some really, really electric backs. I mean, BLBRE was mental, and his speed is. I watched back one of his highlights for Bordeaux, and it's just like it's the separation. Like he makes what are really fast players look really slow. Yeah. It's like you can see someone chasing him back, and I'm like, I know that guy. He's really quick, and it's like he is gaining like a lot.
Yeah, and he's small. He's quick. His skills, like the little kicks past one player. And I mean, to put a lovely weighted kick in when you've got sort of 20, 30 meters to weight it, but when you're weighting it just like a meter kick past the one defender to gather again. And I mean, talking of kicking skills, the crossfield pass to Ramos to be able to clear lines. I mean, if something tells you that France are in firing mode, that's a big clue there, I think.
Yeah, you see that and you're like, oh no, like, I'm in danger.
It was the ironic thing, I think, because looking back now at the Welsh game, where like Blair Murray tries to keep that the kick in field, and pass it back. Is it Ben Thomas inside him, if I can remember? And then he sort of knocks it on that leads to the try. And everybody's sort of like berating him for it. What, like, you can tell he's got no experience. You can tell this. And I was like, if that comes off, like if Ben Thomas just collects it and boots it, it's amazing. It's on the highlight reel next to BRBRA crossfield kick to clear. Doing it's an amazing bit of skill.
It's a
But you
fans are
are
a fickle bunch, right?
You are just playing with fire.
Like, it's amazing. You watch we'll get into the England game later, but you watch the England game and people were rinsing the kicking game before this, right? Because it doesn't come off. Because the things they do don't come off. Daily grubbers one through, Freeman collects, gathers, goes over the line. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's wonderful. Like, which is true. Like, but you don't get that. You don't get that if you don't try it. Like, and sometimes it doesn't come off. Yeah, no, 100%. And France were on one. Like, do you know who has really impressed me actually? Their new lock, is it Guillard?
Oh yeah.
Who came on? It's like, wow, like,
yeah,
really impressive player.
And it's one of those that, like, this is why when you look back at sort of when Curry and Underhill like first come on the scene for England, right? They're like, they're still in that first sort of 5-10 cap space. They're still in that hungry space. Like, I need to come on. I need to prove myself. I need to go bigger, harder, and unleash. I think he absolutely came on, because I think was it that try where he got underneath like Tad Bird?
I don't know if did Guillard score?
I can't. Or was that the other? I'm sure it was the replacement.
Because it was. No, that was. Yeah. No, I know who you mean, but no, Guillard started against France, so he's relatively new to this Six Nations. I hadn't seen him before, had no idea who he was. He only really played. I mean, he's played in all the rounds so far, but he started, I think, against Italy, and had a really impressive game. But he's quick for a big man. He can shoot, like, he gets over the ball. He's got really good handling skills. I mean, the entire French team has really nice handling skills. Yeah, I've been really, really impressed with his game. So he's going in my fantasy team straight away next week. Looking for some points from him. Although I hope he does terribly, because I need Scotland to win. But
we'll get to the crazy Super Saturday games later. But a pretty strong dominant score from France against Ireland. And again, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't have sat there and thought that Ireland are mid-table at this point in the Six Nations, down in third, which leads us nicely on to the next game. So for the Scotland-Wales game, which was a crazy emotional roller coaster as it is, let alone the fact that I was sat in Germany in an Irish pub surrounded by Americans. So that just added to the emotional journey that was Saturday. But Wales, Scotland. I'm not sure if that sort of final scoreline of 35-29 sort of flatters Wales a little bit. But for me, it was nice to see a bit of hunger and a bit of fight in the end, a bit of attacking intent. What was your thoughts on that game?
I was genuinely worried the first half. I think Scotland came out, put a few early tries in. Blair Kinghorn was on one. Had a really good game. Tom Jordan was my point of difference this fantasy week, and he had a really good game. So thank you, Tom. The Welsh, like, I don't know what you think. You've played in the backline, so you're probably more akin to this. But Anscombe takes the ball really deep at first receiver, and he sets the line really, really deep, which I can see why, because they're going to come up and get in. You kind of break up the defense a little bit, hope for a little bit of a disjointed runner, chip out the back and around, right? But what that does do is invite Scottish pressure onto you, and they were getting out of the line to come and get him. So, like, a lot of the Welsh attack in the first half, you were going, but like there was lots of passing, but you're just going backwards because they just kept hitting men behind the gain line. And I was like, this is not how you're going to do this if you're going to win. But then the second half, Scotland, like whether it was Wales turned up or Scotland shut down, or most likely a mix of both, but they really came back, like in a big way.
Yeah.
Jared Evans came on much flatter to the line, really kind of moved that attack around, moved the Scotland. I mean, you've also got the lack of depth in Scotland, so you've probably got
I think it was a different
top quality player.
Yeah, it was a different shape, and it was probably the right time when you sit back to sort of have that on. It was a different shape, different style of attack, I think.
It did, yeah. It definitely wasn't even the first and second half, like to be able to do that. It's quite a good thing to be able to do, right? It's to completely change up the way you play.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it was again planned by nature, but to look at the sort of big picture, look at the Wales from last year. Let's look at Wales from the first sort of game, Six Nations. Matt Sherratt to come out. I think Wales against what is a strong Scotland team to end up with sort of a try in it. And when we look back at big things in the game, so the Blair Murray hurdling an arm, the Faletau try that wasn't.
Definitely a penalty, but my God, I wish that would have gone through, because like that was such a good.
And it's such a big, and again the sort of laws are having looked at them vigorously this weekend, and obviously it's not directly in the laws. However, it is in one of the clarifications that New Zealand asked 2 years ago. They asked for clarification on this, and it is the fact that hurdling a player infield, etc. But it begs the question of sort of when somebody makes a tackle, but they're a half a meter more away than they are, and you naturally lift your legs to get above an arm. At what point is it this and that? I think they were right to call it back. I hate it because actually I think
that was a fantastic run back and a great piece of skill.
Fantastic rugby. I mean, it's cited for saying that it's dangerous in the clarifications. I do think that there's nothing dangerous about the way he's hurdled an arm there. I do get how it would be considered if he's tried to hurdle him and kicked him in the face or kneed him in the knee. I do get that. It's just
my argument would be this. I think you need to be. So I can see why it is, because if you're in a world where you're telling people they got to tackle lower, I can't then be like, tackle real low, but this guy can jump over you.
I'm going to let somebody jump over you, yeah.
But yeah. I think Blair Murray's was just on the wrong side of it, to where it's like, because you're allowed to hurdle to the side, to jump to the side to get out of the way of a tackle, but you're not allowed to jump over. And I would argue like there would be a case made either way that actually, like, depending on interpretation, that was very much a 50-50, maybe 60-40, but it was. And then like Sloopy Faletau, when he got the ball afterwards, I was like, oh shit, old boy can move. Like,
back
that's
into
it. He's gone. Yeah.
And he was a good try scorer, even for the Lions. He hung out on the wing and could get over the try line. No, but it was good to see sort of line breaks, Wales attacking from deep, Blair Murray doing what he's definitely been brought into the squad to do, in the absence of sort of, when you look back at kind of nice Liam Williams, like the famous British Lions sort of try, attacking from deep and having that threat. And I think it's really important in the modern kicking game that you do have that running threat, that you do have that. The moment that you kick that 5-10 meters too long, like, it's not that
it's on now, yeah.
Like, it's on, like, in your chase, and you can't just drop knowing that someone's going to kick 2 phases and box kick back to you. It's definitely something that you have to have in your arsenal. And again, Scotland and Kinghorn does that very well. Not only has he got a sort of good boot, but actually counter attacking from deep, he does really well. It was nice to see some intent from Wales. It was nice to see some fight and some hunger to stay in it, and not just Again, we've seen Wales teams previously just heads go down. Yeah, it was nice to see. If not the desperate win that we need, it was nice to see that there's still a fight in it, and it definitely gives, I think, Wales hope at home against England. And if there's ever a time for a struggling Welsh team to prove some people wrong and to come out with some fire in their bellies, it's Wales England at home.
The most annoying thing in the world. It is the most infuriating thing, is because like you have had the worst run of games in like Welsh history.
Yeah.
But you win on Saturday. Yeah, we're good, mate.
Beating England at home. Everyone forgets. Yeah, I know.
And you will find, and the Welsh team will find another gear. Of course they will. And then it will become this scrappy, horrible game because you're going to make it into that. And then it's all going to piss all over our parade.
Yeah. Yeah, and
the annoying thing is that you're super excited about that night.
Yeah, but it's that little bit of, and it is that little bit of, if you are turning up for any game, it's that one.
Today to do it.
But it's also the game that hurts the most if you lose, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's big risk, big rewards. Like, you're hoping everybody comes out with that sort of fire in their belly, and England, and rights and wrongs, and as the Stereophonics song goes, as long as we beat the English, right? And Matt Sherratt gets a statue outside the stadium. No one knows who Warren Gatland is. He's forgotten. He's in the archives now, and it's all forgotten. It leads into what is a cracking weekend. That being said, Wales against England. England had a match before that, 47-24 to Italy. So England, sorry. I was just looking at Ollie's predictions of where Ollie, unfortunately, last week, his prediction says Italy were going to win by 18. That was incorrect. But Chris, you had England by 25.
Not too far off, yeah.
And I had England by 20.
So yeah, I think, do I just nab it?
Yeah,
23.
23
points. Yeah, so I just take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I thought
ballpark.
It was really good. It was a good game. I thought England played a brand of rugby that people wanted to see that they can play. There was a lot of offloads. There was a lot of loose play. It was very clearly attack-minded. There was a kicking game, but it was kicking with intent. So you saw there was a very clear objective as to why they were kicking it down. And it was on when they were doing it. And they dominated the air with Tommy Freeman. He's had an absolute stormer of a tournament, scored in every game he's played so far. I
think it was, and even just watching, I was doing a 6-hour trek through Germany at that point, so missed it, but watched quite a lot of it after it. You said against the end, quite a lot of offloads, quite a lot of, and I wasn't sure whether that was sort of Italy inviting that game plan. Again, given you look at the space that sort of Dupont usually creates at 9 and takes so much time, and you look at sort of Mitchell in that game, and actually without a press from Italy, got Mitchell.
They did let a lot of that go past. I was like, Mitchell at one point just ran across 4 of them.
Just literally skipped around the back of, I think it was Willis, just and ran sideways across the pitch with no.
But it wasn't there. It was within reach distance. They could touch him. It wasn't. It wasn't like he was.
If somebody just put a yard of pressure on. But yeah, so I'm not sure whether that sort of that style, that sort of play was invited. I'm not convinced that was a game plan by England. I'm convinced that was more Italy are inviting that sort of play against them.
I do think I believe so. When Borthwick and that say they do want to play attacking rugby, I do believe them. I do think that one of the things many fans will forget is that the opposition team have a say in the style of game that's going to be
Absolutely.
played. Like, so when against Scotland, right? Like, I do think they want to come out and chuck it around a little bit and attack the game, but like Scotland aren't going to allow you to do that. So, or they didn't allow us to do that. So and they defaulted back to it's like, well, what do we know we can do? Well, we can kick it, and my wingers are bigger than your wingers, and I'm gonna put them up in the air, and we're gonna see who comes out on top. So I think Italy was a game, like you say, they invited that, and we were like, okay, cool, we'll take it. So started chucking it around.
And I think not to Italy, and obviously, sort of as a Welsh fan, chatting about Italy at the moment, they've recent years. I think they're in this position now where they are scoring more than they've ever scored in championships before,
but they're still getting dominated.
But they're still, and I think at no point, and it's probably one of the Italy bits, and even looking through their previous games, and even sort of Wales and a few other bits, there's nothing. There was no real sense at any time that England were in danger.
No, I think even after they scored their tries, and like credit to Italy where it's due. So the first of their tries, that chip over from Ioane to the couple of others, like that was out of nothing. That was beautiful. Like I was watching it with my wife, and I'm usually quite emotional during the game.
Pure emotional skill,
I was just like, I'm normally quite like, I get really upset or really like, I'm quite loud. And I was like, no, that was just a good try. Like, you can't defend that. Like, no one to be angry at here.
Yeah. You can't go, oh my God, who missed a tackle? You can't go, Jesus Christ, he was out of position. It was just, just.
Well done. Yeah, beautiful. Like, yeah, exactly. I was like, touche, sir. Like, well played. And then the gas from Ross Vincent to get their second as well.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's got wheels. He's got Mitchell, Marcus Smith, and Genge chases him down. And like, let's not forget, like, Genge like chased down like Sevu Reese in the like he's got a lot of wheels over over short distances. He's got some acceleration, and he's got them three chasing him down, and he's just clean. And this is number 8. This isn't like a winger, right? This is like their number 8 that's chasing. I was like, that was impressive. Lovely little pass from Capuozzo. He had a really good game. So credit where it's due. Italy played some good stuff, but like you say, they did invite the pressure from England, and England took it. And they're like, cool, let's play the game then.
Italy had reminded me almost of the France from sort of 5
I was about to say the exact same thing, where they could come out and do some wonderful stuff,
but until
they can get
until you get a Sean Edwards,
and
until you get Sean Edwards in to square away the fact, because you can go out and you can score tries like that, fantastic, but while you're still leaking double that, it's not getting you. But it is a good, exciting brand of rugby. It's definitely proven that sort of Italy are there, massively in contention. I think that was actually a pretty good game to watch. When I look back at the Italy and France, it was Ireland and France. It was sort of dominated a little bit by sort of injuries to Dupont and a couple of questions asked. I didn't think it was a particularly. France had it, Scotland, Wales at times, but actually I think it was a pretty good game. There was little bits of little moments from each of the teams going in. I think it was the one. I mean, look at our predictions. It was the one that was, as we saw it, pretty honest reflection.
Yeah, I think one thing to say is I feel really bad for Ollie Lawrence. Like, I know you say you didn't catch it, but I saw it and I was like, "Who's that? Who's that lying down?" Because like normally when you see someone get injured, you can see how it's happened, right? You'd be like, "Oh, they've just been in that ruck, or they've like whatever it is, like something's just happened." Like, okay, that's where it's come from. But he was just like, there was just someone in the backfield like laying down. And I was like, but like in real pain. And I was like, "What's the God's name's happened there?" And then it shows the replay of him, like he goes to take off, and it just completely like sniper, like boom, gone. Apparently his Achilles has gone. I really feel for him because he had found such a good vein of form. So one of the things I've been putting out on socials, because I don't know if people are aware of this, but they definitely should be. So in the 11 rounds of the Prem, 10, 11 rounds of the Prem we've had so far. He has been man of the match in 50% of them in which he's played for Bath. Like, he is in crazy form, and he was just really finding his feet at test level as well. He was really
international rugby finding his
he
No, I
was
just
really
agree.
getting into his groove. Like, this is who I am. This is how I'm going to play. I think he'd sealed that 13 shirt after being tried to be moved into the 12 for a while. He'd kind of like, he'd finally been like, no, I'm a 13, and got there. And he was, I'd say, maybe not a shoe-in for the Lions, but definitely one of the names that you were like, let's have a look.
Contender.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
And to lose that, your first Lions tour when you're in a great form, and this is probably one of the better chances you're going to get at it. That's hard.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of big hits sort of this weekend, and just having sort of Dupont going out.
They're not small injuries, are they? Like, I think Dupont did ACL, Ollie Lawrence did Achilles. Those are like 6-monthers. Those are,
and it's sort of, it goes back, and this is where depth becomes really important, right? This is where we said it before, and even looking at sort of Faye Roboso and the surgery needed, sort of dropping out, and having so much depth in different positions to be able to sort of slot in and come in. So am I right in thinking that you're one of your shining stars that you're always gobbing off about is Ajomo?
Yeah, he's been called up.
Yeah,
I think him and Lawrence are the future. So, personal opinion, I think him and Lawrence are the center partnership of the future. They're the ones that will get us going forward. Jomo, good carrier. He's good at everything. He's like your classic 12, right? He's kind of, I'd say he's akin to like a Ben Thomas, right? In the sense of he can pass, he can distribute, he can kick through, he can carry hard. He's got good wheels on him. He's quite a smart player. So I think he's good. I don't know that he's not a like for like replacement for Lawrence. He's the man you want in the 13 channel. Big, hard carrier, beats defenders, and got some wheels on him. And his offloading game is something that I think we missed. I think you could see it in the game when they lost him. I thought Fraser Dingwall had a really good game at 12. He plays that similar role of like gluing the back line together better. I thought he did really well there. But then when you lost Lawrence and Daly went into 13, and Daly's an accomplished centre in his own right and is an excellent player. I thought he had a great game, particularly his first kind of 7 or 8 minutes in fullback. I was like, that's what we've been missing.
He shut down a few critics, Daly, I think.
Yeah, like people complain. I remember when he first came on the scene, I was like, this guy's the real deal. And then he went through a bit of a period where like it's weird how you stop being the shiny new thing and all of a sudden no one likes you anymore. But he is a super high quality player.
Like Lions quality, Chewing, and
multiple Lions tours quality. Like this isn't.
And again, and that's not just that's Lions quality at 13 wing and fullback, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not many in the world can do that. Like can do that reliably.
So there's a couple of the big sort of a weekend marred by some big injuries to some key players for some. That wraps up round 4 quite nicely. I was going to mention Ollie Lawrence, ironically, as we switch focus into fantasy rugby. So I will go first, as my team had quite a disappointing weekend, funnily enough, mainly due to, obviously not his own fault. Ollie Lawrence was in my side, gaining me only 6 points before he was injured. Dupont was also in my side, gaining me 14 points before he was injured.
In fairness to Ollie Lawrence, that's a point per minute for him, right? Like that's like
and it's all relative, right? And obviously it's not just he's had a bad game. Obviously it's the sort of injuries, but Ollie Lawrence, Dupont, and then I was idiotic enough to think that McCarthy for Ireland might do some business before he got a yellow card. Which is not ideal. So 6 points for Lawrence, 40 points for Dupont, and I think McCarthy with such a blatant and ridiculous grab of the shirt and the pullback.
He didn't even try and hide it. Do you know what I mean?
Ramos,
Omani definitely should have had a yellow in that game for his little things, but he's like the master of like just on the right side of it to where like
Richie McCall level. Knows the right.
No, but like McCarthy, that was the most blatant thing.
And he
just grabbed him by the shirt.
Yeah, and he reminds me of like almost like a very young like a Itoje. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is a bit narky, and he is a bit sort of like, and he gets, and yeah, he's going to give us that, he's going to make that city, but in another 5-10 caps, you're hoping that he doesn't do that. Yeah, but I think him, yeah, that yellow card, um, yeah, I did not have. I was saved a little bit by Jack Conan as a super sub. Got me 81 points. Not as good as other super subs that came on, obviously. And
Other super subs are available.
Yeah, and I picked Tommy Freeman. Got me 86 as my captain. Obviously, there were some big scores out there from everybody else. So overall, yeah, my team 477. So not fantastic. Your team did slightly better, Chris.
Yeah, no, I did okay. So I had Ollie Lawrence as well and Antoine Dupont. So that hurt. I thought that this was going to be the game that England were going to throw it about and attack a bit. So I went with a largely English back three. So with Tommy Freeman and Ollie Slightholme. Both scored pretty much identical amounts of points. So completely happy with that. That came with a captain Freeman, which was a good choice. Better choice would have been to captain Kinghorn, who I did have, but he came away with 71, which would have been 142 points for a captain, which would have
absolute beast.
Really pushed me up the chain had I have had the foresight to do that. I also thought Lawrence would do well if they're going to throw it around. My big point of difference was I had Tom Jordan as fly half, played in the centres, got me a couple of points. Not many people had him, so well done me. Thank you very much. And then super sub, I had Marcus Smith, and that brought me in 108 points because came on after like 7 minutes for Ollie Lawrence's injury. So
yeah,
not a bad round. Total score of 563. But I will be making some changes this week.
I think so. And while we're on fancy, big shout out to Dougie, who jumped 6 places in the DXV League this week, mainly due to, just looking at his team now, mainly due to captaining Blair Kinghorn, grabbing him 142 points, and having Marcus Smith as his super sub, getting him 108. So there's sort of 250 points.
Choices, yeah.
250 points from 2 picks there, which is more, as I just have a look, than the whole of his front pack put together. Which does beg the question: are they slightly overpowered? But then again, he did well. Tommy
you have
Freeman,
to pick the right ones.
Blair Kinghorn captained, Tommy Freeman, Lewis BRBRA in his back three, Menoncello for 39 in the centres, as well as Hugh Jones. Yeah, Finn Smith. Yeah, he had a cracking team that weekend. So congratulations to Dougie, 6 points and jumps to the top of the DXV rankings. So now let's switch a bit of focus. As round 4 is done, we are into round 5, otherwise known as Super Saturday. Obviously, because of the sort of losses, Ireland, France, England getting some wins, it makes for a very interesting Super Saturday. We were discussing before, Chris. Yeah, thoughts overall about Super Saturday and how it's all come to fruition.
So first of all, the whole of the home nations are Scottish on Saturday evening. Like everybody wants Scotland to win, because no matter who you are, whether you're Ireland, whether you're England, I mean, it doesn't really make, no offense, doesn't really make a great deal of difference for Wales, but for Scotland, like everybody wants Scotland to win that, so we're behind you. If you're going to have a hell of a game, this is the time to do it in Paris. You must be torn though, because if you do that, then it means a likely win for England in the overall Six Nations. That does, however, assume a win over Wales, and as we've discussed at length, is increasingly unlikely, because if they're ever going to have the game of their lives, this is the one. But I really love that it's teed up the way it has, because you've got, in theory, France, England, Ireland, and Scotland could all mathematically win the Six Nations.
Yeah.
Albeit, Scotland is unlikely, because that would require Ireland losing to Italy, England losing to Wales, and for them to beat France.
Yeah.
and by like considerable margins.
Yeah, the points difference comes in, and let's be honest with, I think it's France with the 100-odd points plus points
Yeah,
difference.
they would need to beat France by 110 points or more.
I mean, worth a fiver if you're going on a bookie.
That would be the result of the
I mean,
century.
Blair Kinghorn's been on fire.
If you think that's going to happen, all Scottish back three, because that is mental. But yeah, it's mathematically it is possible.
Sounds like a plan. So let's have a look at realistically now. Let's with our best judgment and non-biased Wales England supporters on. Let's go through this game by game. So Italy Ireland. You've got to say Ireland are winning that, even after a disappointing
Ireland
week
with a
against
bonus
France.
point, you'd expect.
Ireland scoring sort of.
They are
tries.
in Rome though, so yeah, but I still think Ireland with a bonus point.
Ireland with a bonus point.
So that puts them up to a total of 19 points is how they would finish.
That puts them up there. Wales versus
Italy. This is important for the bottom. Do you think Italy gets a losing bonus point of any kind? So either finishing within 7 or 4 tries.
So I think scoring 4 tries is more likely. We've seen that they can pull tries out of nowhere. And again, so it's even if they are leaking tries, we still see that Brex and Menoncello, Capawatsu,
some real quality. Yeah,
there is the ability to just pull a try out of nowhere.
Guns ahead. What are you saying? 1 bonus point, no bonus points.
1 bonus point.
You're saying they get a bonus point of some kind.
I'm saying they score 4 tries. I think Ireland will pull away in the end and pull outside of 7 points.
Okay.
But I'm saying that they score 4 tries.
In which case, that puts Italy up to 5. Score of 5 points.
Because Italy all know as well that if they don't score 4 tries, or they don't,
Wales win,
that they go back to being wooden spoon, right? So they're
or
under
if
pressure.
Wales come away with 2 bonus points, which is, I'd argue, quite likely.
So so there's so Ireland with a bonus point, Italy with 1 losing bonus point.
Yep. So that's Ireland on 19, Italy on 5.
Wales, England at home.
This, I think, is... So, let's see what the bookies say, shall we? Should we have a quick little gander? Is it?
Bookies know best.
Yeah, let's have a look, because this is
where we get betting odds and good tips on if you've got a spare tenner this weekend.
Let's see. So we've got 6 Nations. Give me a second. So England by 11 is what they say. Now, assuming that we take that, England should win. The really important question there is that 11 clear having scored 4 tries or having...
I'm going to back out there now. I'm going to tell you, England score 4 tries. England win clear of 7 points. So England win with 2 bonus points.
1 bonus point.
Wales, 1 bonus point.
Wales get no bonus.
Wales gets 1 bonus point.
So they get 4 tries as well then.
So I think because they will rumble the forwards, they will do those hard-hitting tries. They will know that they need to score tries, even if they're down by 20 points. They will know they will be after that bonus point. And they will be after it to, again, if we're coming away from anything in this 6 Nations, it's to not have the wooden spoon again. Which, considering the start of the 6 Nations is, I mean, you have to take that as a win and as a step up from last year, no matter how tiny it is. So I think the pressure will be there. And again, Italy play first, so Wales will know what they've hit in terms of bonus points,
What
etc.
they need to do.
So
Yeah.
Wales will know what they need to do. So I think even at that sort of 70th minute, if we're down by 30 points, like we're kicking the corner because we want the try. So I think England come away the bonus point win, but I do think that Wales will push to get that bonus point, even if we lose. That's how I see it.
In which case, that would put England finishing on 20 points, Wales finishing on 4. Now, this is realistically the big decider. Any win, realistically, because their points difference is so enormous. So the second highest points difference is England with 20 points difference. France have 106. So unless anyone's scoring 80 points more than what France might beat Scotland by, then you're not. So cool. If we assume that's granted, then France versus Scotland, any win for France sees them win the Six Nations. So that, or if Scotland win, then that changes the whole dance. And based on what we've
everything.
Yeah, so if Scotland win, then they would end on 16, depending if you'd say they're going to win by a bonus point or not. And I'd say if Scotland do win, it's going to be because Scotland have outscored France. So I'd say bonus points all round, if you'd agree now.
Yeah, go for
It's
that.
not going to be if Scotland win that game, it's not going to be a low scoring game.
No, yeah, agreed.
So Scotland would end on 16. So not enough.
Yeah.
Assuming the results we've just said.
Yeah.
And France would finish, assuming they also got a bonus point, would finish on 17. If Scotland won, that would see England win, Ireland second, France third, Scotland fourth, Italy fifth, Wales sixth.
Yeah.
Or so yeah, any permutation. France lose, England win. France win, France take the whole thing. Yeah, it's pretty much, unless of course Wales beat England, in which case if Scotland win, Ireland win the Six Nations. If France win, they still win the Six Nations.
Yeah.
But interestingly, and this is the interesting thing at the bottom, if Wales can claw 2 bonus points from that game against England, so finish within 7 and 4-point win, and Italy get a bonus point, assuming Italy get a bonus point against Ireland, then Wales beat Italy, and Wales don't get the wooden spoon. Italy gets the wooden spoon. So I'd say that's probably the objective, right? Is to keep that game as close as humanly possible.
And the good thing there is there's something for all the teams to play for all around, right?
Yeah. So Scotland wants to win the game.
Looking at Italy and going, like, we want a good performance after that. We want the bonus points. Let's go for it. Italy is still like, holy, we're still in wooden spoon contention. We need to get some bonus points, even if we're losing here. We need to go. England and Wales is, I mean, it's England and Wales, so that tells you everything.
There's that. And England can still win it.
England could still win it.
Not get the wooden spoon.
But we need to absolutely spank some bonus points. We need to go after it. Wales clearly sort of like they have an ambition to not finish last and not have the wooden spoon again.
It's really good call that it favours both teams.
Go after it.
It's really weird. I don't know if we've ever had this situation before where both England and Wales want that to be a high-scoring game because both of them need 4 tries.
Yeah, like everyone wants bonus points.
Yeah, so both.
It's either going to be ridiculously scrappy because everybody will try and force every try-scoring opportunity and fling it round, and it will be horrible and scrappy, or it will be a wonderful test match of end-to-end, try for try, for actually people playing it and running it, and not just boot, boot, boot until someone knocks it on.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever had that before, where it's everybody wants high scoring games, like because like if you're England, you don't care if Wales score those tries.
Yeah, because you just need to score more, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you can score as many tries as you want. Like,
and we don't care where you finish as long as we win and we score 4 tries.
Yeah.
Scotland, France, but I still think in my eyes that the France Scotland
that is
yeah.
There's not many occasions where
I mean, it's
England
honestly it's France at home. It's theirs to lose, right?
Yeah.
And I know that wasn't a French pun, to lose, but that it is France's to lose. And I think that's realistically this weekend. Although I'd love to see Wales beat England and not get the wooden spoon that way. However, realistically, I think that's the way it's going to work out. Happy with that, Chris?
Annoyingly, yes, I do think France will beat Scotland. It's France in France. That's a difficult ask for anybody, and Scotland haven't been on full song. And I just know that if you're a Scottish player, in the back of your mind, you've got the fact that, well, if we win this, then England win the Six Nations. Just a little knock on just before the line. I was like,
and I know it's not all about you, but yeah,
it is.
It's not that much.
It is 100% all about it.
I doubt that's playing in the back of their mind that much. But so now we've just called those games, it leads us on to our predictions quite nicely. So first of all, given that Ollie isn't here yet again, and the good blokes that we are, I think Ollie's predictions need to come first. So Italy versus Ireland. I mean, Italy are at home, and Ollie does love Rome. Ollie's a big fan of Rome.
I think Ollie calls a draw 3 draws on the weekend, just as he just says it's all gonna end.
All Super Saturday.
Yeah, there's 3 draws. There's 3
just a draw.
Consecutive draws. I think that's what when we were talking.
What points are we saying?
Let's go back old school. It's going to be like a 3-3.
3-all. It's Italy versus Ireland in Rome.
It's a 3-all game.
3-all. I got you. Yeah, that was Wales versus England. Bear in mind, we both need 4 tries. Big points for us. Wales versus England. What is Ollie thinking?
I mean, it's gotta be like a 70-70 game, right? Like it's gotta be. Gonna be huge.
I was gonna go high 40s. I was gonna go like a 46-all.
Yeah, sounds good.
No, because that's still, on the grand scheme of things, that's got to be close to like 16, 18 tries or something. Like
it'd be almost a try a minute.
That's like something pretty ridiculous. So 46-all for Wales, England, France, Scotland. The big one.
Having just described that if whatever happens, it's going to be a high-scoring game, I think Ollie thought it was going to be 0-0.
I mean, if France, Scotland, I mean, 3-3.
Yeah, that sounds.
I mean, it's unlikely that somebody won't give a penalty away. But yeah, a good 3-3 nail biter.
Yeah. Going back to the old school.
France take the lead early in the 60th minute with 3-0, and a Scottish equalising drop goal at 79 minutes.
Yeah.
So Ollie's important predictions are done for Super Saturday. Now on to us. Italy versus Ireland, Chris. Let's get through them.
Ireland by 30.
Ireland by 30, pretty big. I would say Ireland, but I'm going to go slightly less. I'm going to go Ireland by 21.
Ooh.
That's mine. Wales versus England. As you went first last time, I'm going to go first this time. I'm going to say Wales by 4.
I'm going to say England by 5. I genuinely don't think there's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination.
I hope I'm wrong. I get this sense that this game is going to be a horrible game. It's going to go two ways.
It always is.
It'll go two ways. It'll be a scrappy, niggly, horrible game
Penalties,
where both teams are
knock-ons.
trying to force everything. Both teams are throwing wild stuff. Both teams are trying to force everything. They're going to be off their feet. They're going to be trying to go after rucks that they shouldn't have.
Really low scoring.
It's going to be
no one can finish
horrifically horrible, decided by a 10-man maul, a 10-man maul with 3 meters to go. It's either going to go that way, or England come out with an ambition to hit everything. Wales don't quite clip, and Wales go back to a disappointing score. Either one of those I don't really want. First one I don't want as a rugby fan, and the second one I don't want just because I don't want to see Wales lose, and especially not to England. But that's what I see. The big one of the weekend: France versus Scotland.
France by 10.
France by 10.
It's not what I want. I want Scotland by any margin. I don't care what the margin is. Just a draw will cut it. Yeah, a draw would cut it.
We'll give you the Calcutta Cup back. We'll let you hold on to it for a year. Just screw that up. France versus Scotland. France at home. I think it's going to be a bit bigger. And I'm going to go France by 22.
It very much could be. It could be a complete blowout.
But it could be
because both of these teams do the same thing. Where who turns up?
Yeah, I mean, it could be that Finn Russell, Blair Kinghorn, Darcy Graham, Hugh Jones all decide
Van der Merwe,
this week we're going to click. This week we're just going to click. And
Finn Russell throws offloads off the grounds, and it's it's just mental.
And France have one of those games that is against England where a couple of tries get put in the good, simple, just Peno's just not there, just hands are not there.
The pressure gets to them. I
mean, wilder things have happened. Right, there's our predictions done for Super Saturday. So we will do one more of the Six Nations podcast that will come after Super Saturday, and that will also be the look forward to the start of the Premiership and our fancy rugby game at dream15rugby.com. So that rounds us up nicely. We hope you have a good Super Saturday. We hope you've got a nice spot in your favourite pub picked out if you're not at the games themselves. Thank you for joining us for another week of DXV podcasting. As usual, please subscribe, please follow us. You can find us on any of our social media, so Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, etc. If you like what we're doing, please keep following us, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks for joining us.